So I went away for a week and I went to a place called Rhythmia that was a plant-based medicine wellness retreat, and I did ayahuasca. It was the most crazy thing. I don't think I've ever done anything like it in my life. I don't think I've ever pushed myself in my life. And I don't think I ever got so many incredible gifts from it. I've always been super scared of things that take me out of being present. I've never been a druggie. I never get totally crazy about it. I never do that. I've never taken pills. I just wasn't into drugs, so I kept thinking something about it was calling to me. I really wanted to do something different, but I was terrified. And just to let you know, like, some of the things that I was feeling was just sort of like stuck, sort of like not in love with my life. Like, my life is blessed and great, but I just sort of felt sort of dulled. And I've just always had this thing with myself about feeling fragile, but I'm actually very strong. I just have had this story about that I was just fragile. So my daughter kept bringing it up, and I finally just was like, I really want to do something like that. It was calling to me. And they say the medicine should be calling to you in some random way, and just keep listening. And she's like, you're really going to do it, Mom? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I felt really scared. I kept waking up terrified in the morning. I started feeling a little anxiety. I started feeling sleepy every day. I'd wake up, and that was because I knew I was just feeling afraid of what I was committing to.
Flight. Sounds drive.
It's day one. I just got here. We did a yoga class this morning, and then we had to go to the doctors to get a wellness check, vitals, to make sure you're well.
And you split out of protection, and you built up these coping mechanisms that protect you and keep you getting your needs met. And now something's changed in you. Something's changed. There's been something that's activated, and you're like, this doesn't feel good anymore. I'm looking for something else. This activation has started. This week you're going to start eating away at all these protective coatings, right?
Do our ayahuasca tonight here at Rhythmia. I'm kind of excited, and also just like don't know what to expect. So I'm trying to just be very open and surrender to the whole thing. Big jump for me out of my comfort zone. So I've only got 1 more hour to drink coconut juice. No more food since 2 o'clock. And I just had a massage. And I'm ready. I don't feel scared. I feel kind of excited and looking forward to it, because they really prep you here with all this beautiful stuff. So this is night 1. Say hi, Dice. We're both fresh and ready to do our ayahuasca ceremony. First night. Day 3. Last night was crazy. Last night was the first night of the medicine treatment, and I was so sick. I mean, I was so sick, throwing up and couldn't even stand the smell of the smoke in the room, and had to get a lot of healings. And at one point I went up to the altar, and I thought I was going to pass out. Everything just started to go dim and tingly, and they just kept healing me and doing all these rituals on me, and I must have thrown up 8 times, 9 times. But I had some beautiful revelations. I told the woman that was kind of watching me. I went outside by the fire, and I told her I felt stuck. And then she said, what is that stuck? And I said, I don't know. She said, there's sadness. And it turned out that I then said, yeah, it's about my mom. And I just started crying. And the dam broke, because I felt like my mom doesn't really see me, and I can't feel her. I try so hard to feel my mom. I'm always doing like a little soft shoe and a dance and trying to get her attention, but there's a lot of sadness there, and I also feel like she might be wanting to leave the planet soon. I hope I'm wrong. And the other revelation I had was, she told me to ask Mother Ayahuasca what I needed to see about myself. And all of a sudden, the words came out, I'm a nature girl. And it made me cry so hard because I told her that I've been trying to live this fancy Hollywood kind of life, and I'm really just like an Ugg boots and jeans girl. And ever since I lived at Uncle Joe's before I got married, I'm just like an earthy girl. I'm a nature girl. So it was a big revelation. Tonight is day 3, Wednesday night of the medicine Ayahuasca. And last night was really difficult, but I just keep pushing through.
Or they were abusive, or they were unavailable, they were not present. Or, like in my case, I lived in an environment that was that way. My house life was great, my parents were awesome, but my neighborhood was scary. So I felt like at a young age, and those of us that had that background with parents or caregivers that were not available or even abusive, we felt like it was us against the world. So how does a 5-year-old manage that? Does a 5-year-old go to school and say, teacher, I need to talk to you. My dad's got a drinking problem, you don't have the terminology to explain what is even going on. You can't get in a car and drive away and get a new family. You're stuck there. So you gotta survive. How do you survive? How do you survive a chaotic, abusive, dangerous, abandoning environment? There's one way a kid can do it. They unplug from their own emotional state. They put their emotions off to the side, and their body becomes a vessel to pull in and hold the emotional state of someone else.
Everything made so much sense to me, even though it was so crazy. But what the ayahuasca does is it's like a mirror that reflects onto you truths that sometimes are hard to look at, but in looking at them, it sort of just breaks things open for you. And it's not easy. It was really difficult for me. There were nights where the first night was really difficult for me. I felt scared of how sick I felt, which is my thing. Just run from any discomfort in my body that I can run from. But you can't run when you're on ayahuasca because you just have to sit in it. And they teach you really thoroughly to keep breathing, deep breathing in, and that you have to know, like the anxiety that comes up, or the fear, or the panic, or the scared, that it's not you, it's right outside of you, so you just keep breathing through. And the big word that I kept hearing was trust. You just have to trust, and that's a hard one for me because I just got to where I just didn't trust anyone, and I've been pushing people away, and I don't want to live like that anymore. All that loneliness I felt my whole life, even though I was able to always put on a beautiful, happy face, and my job is joyful, but inside I always felt this deep loneliness and this deep, disconnection and sadness because of how much fear I've lived with, just from so much trauma, just so much fear, so afraid of everything. In the classes, they kept saying, whatever's coming is going, which means no matter how uncomfortable it gets, it's coming up so it can leave you. And there's been so many people that have said they've been healed of so many deep things like addictions or trauma or just things that were holding them back, and how you really do feel like you get to merge back with your soul in a way that you've been sort of detached from yourself for a while. And I would say that by the end of the ayahuasca 4 days, I felt super in love with people and humanity. I just somehow got caught up in living a certain way that really wasn't me. It hasn't been me, but I was trying to keep up, and I realized it's okay for me to be me, and I don't have to keep up. And I just feel like a little more in love with life and people and humanity, and I'm really proud of myself for pushing myself through scary things, and it wasn't easy. I'm so grateful that I did it. It did something to me. It's pretty powerful. It was remarkable. And lastly, they say, the gifts and the miracles come when you push yourself out of your comfort zone. It's really true.